Welcome to 7 Minutes to Shift, the podcast hosted by your girl, Coach Tanya K. I am excited to have you here today. We are going to dig into it, get real deep, and guess what? Only in 7 minutes. So this is the 7 Minutes to Shift podcast where I shift your mindset, your attitude, your energy, and your business's success in just 7 minutes. Now let's get into it. So you want to create momentum in your business, in your life, and anything that you are trying to manifest and create. So how do you actually create momentum? We're going to talk about that today in 7 Minutes to Shift. So in this episode, I'm going to give you just authentic talk about my experiences of creating momentum and how, if you continue to resist, that momentum will never be created. So I've always had situations in my life where they worked out for me, but they never worked out until I became confident in myself to know that I can do them. I remember when I wrote my very first book, and it's called The Instructions. I still to this day, and this was, let me see, Michael Jackson died in 2009. This is 25. So it's been almost 20 years since I've written that book, The Instructions. And I have yet to publish. Well, it's copywritten. It's not published. But I have to get it printed. And I have it all. And I actually lost the book, but I found it. So anyway, but when I didn't have the courage to let that book become public because I was scared. I was scared of the rejection. I was scared that my fears would manifest into a reality. I was scared that I wouldn't sell the book. I was scared that nobody would buy the book that I even love. Nobody would care. And then I was even scared that the stuff that I put in the book would make people mad. I was worried about what other people thought. And there was never any momentum that occurred for me. Again, like I said, I never published that book. Now, I did end up publishing 3 other books, physical books that you can actually find on websites, because I grew into the knowledge of knowing that if I wanted my story to be told, I had to write these books. And I'm working on a project now with a book that's going to be about generational curses, and I'm interviewing now my mom, and I'm going to do my siblings and get this story together. But I absolutely am going to publish The Instructions. If not this year, next year, within the next 2 years, I definitely plan to have it published, because I'm in a space now that I trust the process of publishing a book and reaching my audience and all of that. But the momentum was never created for me to publish that book, but it was created for me to publish the other books. Now, I remember telling myself right before because I had a business before I did my coaching business. It was called Tanya's Full of Services, and I did catering. I did transportation. I sold kids' clothes and women's clothes. I was a stylist for professional women, and I did personal training in water aerobics and swim instruction. So all of the things that Tanya liked or was good at, that was a service that I provided. That's what I did. So Tanya's Full of Services. That's where that name comes from. But while I was doing that, I had momentum in that because I believed in myself. I know my food is delicious. You're going to buy my food. I'm confident in that. Bam, there was momentum. I believed that I was good at fashion and dressing people because I love clothes and I love fashion. So I was good at that. I created momentum with that. Everything that I believed in and I knew that I could do, I created momentum. And fast forward to my coaching business. As a coach, if you are not confident in yourself and you don't believe in yourself, you will have that imposter syndrome and you will not grow at all. You won't service anybody. You may have a few clients here or there, but your coaching business, your legacy will not grow. I promise you. There will not be any momentum because you don't believe in yourself. When you lack that belief in yourself, there is no energy to feed it. There is nothing that the universe has to match the growth with, but there's everything that it has to match the lack of momentum. So if you want to create momentum, you have to create a thought process that moves the needle. When you have that thought process, it becomes a part of your spirit and your body, and that energy resides in your flesh, inside your soul, and you start to listen to the inspired action that's being told to, the inspired intuitive leads that are being told to you, and you turn it into inspired action. That's where the momentum is created. But you have to understand in your mind, your thoughts, that this is a possibility. This is a soon to be reality, and it is yours. But if you don't have that understanding within yourself, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't acknowledge yourself as capable and efficient enough to do this, effective enough to do this, if your self-efficacy is really, really low, you will not create that momentum. Now, fast forward to my coaching business where I'm able to make videos. I'm growing my YouTube page. I'm building my clients, my client, resume and all of that. I'm growing my business because I'm confident and know that what I'm doing, I can do. I was born to do this, and things begin to create momentum. My mindset about myself and who I am and what I'm capable of began to shift. And because that began to shift, and I went and allowed and I surrendered to my spiritual awakening, because I do believe that coaching, consulting, where you service people, you have to go through an enlightening phase in order for you to step into the realm of your full essence, to be able to provide the service for those people. Because you can't half-ass or half-step a struggle, a trial, and get through it and then chat GPT through it, because the authenticity won't be there and people won't be able to connect. Because an AI can tell you what to say, but your story, which is why I'm doing my branding brunch July 27th for those in the Detroit area. But it's your story that gives life to your business. And when you have that story, you can connect with people. It's the emotional connection. That's what creates the momentum. So when you understand who you are, when you realize that what you have been called to do, you can do that. And when you create that story with power, with truth, and with essence, when you learn whatever it is that you're supposed to learn, and you are able to rely that verbally and in a story so that people can hear you, feel you, touch you, taste you, whatever, not taste you in a bad way, but taste your wisdom. Taste your essence. People are excited about that, and that's when they invest in you, and that's when your momentum creates. So again, if you're in the Detroit local area, you are interested in creating your brand, definitely check out the link that's available for you for my business brunch, and I will see you guys on the next episode. And goodbye, and thank you for joining 7 Minutes to Shift. Bye.